Welcome to the Mind Your Wedding Business podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Dennis. In addition to leading the charge at Wedding IQ, I also run Fantasy Sound Event Services, a lighting and entertainment company based in Livermore, California, that I founded over 30 years ago. Each week on this podcast, you'll hear thought-provoking and empowering interviews with wedding professionals who have found success in the industry. If you're a business-minded wedding pro who loves love, but also cares about their bottom line, buckle up and get ready to learn from a new industry expert each week. All right, folks, welcome to another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business. We are here with the one and only, I feel like you're a regular. We should, it's like Norm from Cheers. It's like Julian's here.
It's Halloween time. I'm going to haunt you.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we have Julian Ribinik here, and we are going to be talking today about networking, but networking horror stories. So I'm ready to dive in and really get to know that. But before we do, for those that may be listening for the first time, Julian, and don't know a little bit about Julian, I'm going to have Julian tell us a little bit about who he is and how we got him here today.
First of all, thank you so much for having me again.
Of course.
Yet again.
You're welcome.
Always
all the
a
time.
pleasure. Always a pleasure. My name is Julian Ribinik. As Kevin has mentioned, I'm a wedding photographer out of New York City. Me and my wife, or my wife and I, we're doing this for soon 18 years,
Wow.
which is dates me, us, whatever. I didn't say that. Forget about that. It's been 6 years. I'm kidding. These people who try not to be old. And we are doing wedding photography, concentrating on more emotional side, storytelling. And I really hate to go into this nowadays definitions of editorial, documentary, because let's be frank, all of that is crap when it comes to reality. And I'm going to be blunt, and maybe this is that kind of podcast.
It is.
Because no one knows the difference anyway, and everyone is selling the same thing. So when client asks us, we're all about emotions, telling the story of the day, and making it as unique as you are.
Yeah, I love it.
That's what we do.
But you also forgot Bioprime Wellness.
I did.
Okay.
Because we're on the waiting side.
I know, but we still can talk about it.
I am a health coach, and I help wedding professionals with being more energetic, less sick, being able to perform and do their best at work and live their lives the best.
And I always tell the story because of Julian. I'm no longer addicted to iced tea. I drink water now.
Yes.
That was
I'm
going to be honest, that's probably the most powerful episode I've ever done. That I've had the most effect on me. So thank you for that. So
love it. Right, and we're bringing it up because caffeine makes you tired.
Yes.
That's the context.
Yeah. It's the opposite of what you think it does. So, all right. We're here to talk about networking, and I feel like we could talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but we're going to talk a little bit about basically we're going to talk about what not to do when it comes to networking, all the horror stories, and kind of relive it. So when it comes to networking, Julian, what do you think is the biggest networking faux pas?
I might name things without any order. So as come to mind, and I'm not coming to these things prepared because I like to talk off the cuff. I think one of the biggest errors, mistakes, or wrong perceptions that people have, that once they learn that they actually need to do networking to have business, which is super important, they will just go somewhere and come out with a business. And the expectations, I think, is the number one thing that people have that they shouldn't.
Yes.
Because that gives or allows for wrong attitude. And then we see people who maybe spend a lot of money, maybe fly somewhere, or maybe they just very hyped and excited, or actually maybe very nervous about going to a networking event. They go to a networking event, they leave the networking event, and then they say, oh, I went, I spent my time, I spent the money, or maybe I had fun, got zero work.
Yeah.
And
but
I
it
think
takes time. And that's the thing I think people forget. You're not going to show up to one networking event and get work. You may, if you're lucky, but it's very rare because it's all about relationships. So
that's not a rule. As Kevin said, it might happen, but if it happened, it's not because you worked hard for that, or you're so amazing, or like it just happens. You spoke to the right person who needed something specific, and they liked you. Or maybe they just need that specific discipline. But this is really one-off, and expecting anything when you go somewhere is a really bad thing, because it sets us for a disaster and for disappointment. So I would say that if you're going to any event, first of all, go to events, go a lot to events. If you need work, if you want to meet like-minded people, if you need the community, go to these events. Do not have any expectations of getting any work. I'm seeing all the time people who went to an event and then gave feedback like, I didn't meet anyone, I didn't get any work, I went to 2 events, I went to 3 events, didn't get anything. And that is because of their own expectations. And of course, most of us learn from their own mistakes, which is, the nature of the human being. But the best way we can prepare to those events is to think that, why am I going to this event? What is in there for me that is going to be fun, that is going to be educational? Am I going to meet friends? Because if you're going with the mindset, I'm going to get job, you're not going to.
No.
Ever.
No.
Even if because of the attitude, people feel it, people smell it, and we're going to switch to like mistakes for real, but you expecting to get work, or you expecting that to be business, never ends up, because most people go there to chill, to learn, to meet friends. They are not going to meet, like they're not looking to meet new people necessarily. They want to have good time just as you do. And the second we go there with shop talk, most people will be like it's not good time. And so first of all, if you're going anywhere, and by the way, shout out to Sam Jacobson, he just had perfect episode on how to prepare to engage. If
he's a great speaker,
he's amazing, and he coached me, helped a lot, so like shout out. When we're going to an event, we want to see, who do I know is going to be there, and we can stick with them, and then can introduce to us to someone or not. But what we want to do is to go and meet people for who they are. We want to enjoy the event. We don't want to run around spreading business cards or asking people for Instagram. And
I get in trouble for saying this, Julian, but I call them spray and pray. They walk around the room.
That is spray and pray.
Yeah, but apparently that's not appropriate to say anymore. So I say they spread their business cards around the room and immediately expect to get business, but they did not engage or make any kind of connection with anyone. And you're not going to get business that way. So
in our area, it's very New Jersey.
Yeah.
Or very corporate. If you go to any New York event that is weddings related or events related, you will not see business cards.
Yeah.
And if you see one, you immediately know the person is not from there. And they are very out of place, because no one has business cards.
Yeah.
It's all about Instagram. So one of the biggest mistakes you can do when you're approaching anyone at the event, and you should be approaching, so don't be shy. If you see someone you like, you see people talking, go ahead, jump in, and definitely don't be afraid. People are very welcoming. People are very warm until you do something that you shouldn't. And one of the things you shouldn't be doing is asking them, what do they do? And I think this is one of the biggest turnoffs right away for anyone. We just been to RSVP event in Miami.
Yeah. I saw you. It looked like you guys had a great time.
It was amazing. And shout out to James.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing an amazing like event after an amazing event. It's so beautiful, so fun. And by the way, they don't have name tags.
Oh yeah, that's a good way. That it's funny. I've been starting to see that as a trend now at these events is no name tags, because then it forces you. I can't do the walk by of you, Julian, because I could walk by you and go, oh, he's a photographer. I don't need to know any more photographer, and move on when you see the name tag. But if I don't know, maybe you might make a real good connection. I'm starting to see that as a trend, and I think it's a good trend.
100%. I agree. That encourages conversation, encourages more like candid and like better conversations. But also when you see a person who goes and like looks at everyone names tag, or someone starts talking to you and they're like, what's written there? It does look good. And I immediately don't want to talk to that person.
The squint as they walk by, trying to read your name tag.
That's not a good idea, even though like most events will keep that. And we sometimes at events just turn the tags.
Yeah.
So people can't read them, and whoever needs to know, they already know. And otherwise you want to have a conversation, not because what's on your tag.
I love this trend too. I think it's a great trend.
That promotes honesty.
Well, and organic. It makes it organic. Yeah.
And you want organic. You want that. It's like we are not corporate. We don't want like conference like feeling. We want fun, and we want really good connections. So there was a photographer from Canada, and we started speaking, and right away she's asked like, what are you doing? And I said, photographer. And she was very bubbly and everything. So like that was good. And she said that this is like second event she's going to for SVP, and she went to one others, and like she doesn't get work, and people kind of weird. And that was like first hour of 3 days. And I told her, do not ask anyone what they do.
Yeah.
And what she told, like, so like, how else would I know what they do? And here comes the segue to, you don't need to know what people do. And this goes to like for anyone for networking. You shouldn't care, is it a planner? Is it a photographer? Is it a person who does hair? Is it someone who works with whatever venue? Because your goal here is to create a connection and to make friends and to have fun. And I'm going to repeat that. People are not going to give you anything because of how amazing you are as a professional. We give, I refer people because I love people, these specific people, and because I trust them. I didn't become like to love anyone or trust them because I met them at an event and that's it. I met them 10 times. Or maybe less.
Yeah, and
right.
It's funny. It's like what you're saying. It's you develop that relationship and trust, but you never, like people, I think automatically, and going kind of almost back to the name tag and who we are, it's like, oh, I already know 5 photographers. Why am I going to talk to you, Julian? you know what I'm saying? But you never know. Julian might have an opportunity for me, and then build a connection. Then you never know what door can just meeting people it could open. And when you go in there closed-minded, it's not a good thing. It really, you're not helping yourself find new work.
Absolutely. You never ever know what opportunity is in front of you. You never ever know like who do you know, who the person knows, who the next person know. Everything is a butterfly effect. Everything. Yeah. It's like who you had a drink with, who you said hi to, who you didn't say hi to. It all is connected. And for that purpose, it really doesn't matter who you're talking to.
Yeah.
People hunt planners, poor planners.
Mm-hmm.
They like, even if they want to give event to everyone, which they don't, right? Like, which is obvious, they can't. People are booking a year out, 2 years out. Some planners have 3 events a year. Some have 5.
Yeah.
It's all right. Like, you want to develop a connection with a person, and then maybe sometimes someone will think about you because you were nice.
Or you're a good fit for their client, because that's the other thing. We are all not fits for every single person out there, and you can't do everybody's wedding. But someone like a planner will go, oh my God, I met Julian. He would be perfect with this client.
Absolutely. It's true for almost everything, unless you like connecting electric cables, which is the same everywhere. But like, even like if we're talking a DJ, DJ can be specializing in that or this, and like not every DJ who is great for weddings good for a bat mitzvah.
Yeah, very true.
Right, or for a corporate event.
Yep.
Or for a little kids party. You might not have the skills. You might not have the like library. You might just not be the right person for that specific thing, and vice versa. Same goes for photographers. Same goes for planners. When I've been to like, I'm literally booking. I'm planning a wedding, or a couple comes from UK, and they need a makeup and a hair and a chuppah.
Oh, okay.
They just need a chuppah. So now I'm sourcing the actual chuppah, someone who will build the chuppah in a temple for them, right? I'm not going to talk to some very high-end designer.
Because you just need one thing.
Right? Because that they will do it and it will be very expensive, or they will say this is too small of a job.
Yeah.
I will talk to someone who does smaller jobs, and I've seen them do that.
Yeah.
And I might be friends with everyone, and there's no like, it's not a priority. I'm looking for the best person for the job. I'm being mindful of the budgets. I'm being mindful like of the venues, of the style, of everything. And so are the planners. And so everyone is in the industry. And in order to recommend you, they need to know everything about you.
Yeah.
What you do, how good you are, and everything. But they will not care how good you are at anything if you are not a great person, if you are not a kind person, if you're not a friend, etc., etc., etc.
And it's disappointing when you meet someone that you were like really excited to meet, and they turn out to be an asshole. I mean, I guess is the best way. You know what I'm saying? You were like, oh, and it just sours you. And I feel like that's in any walk of life. But you walk up and you're like, you build this person up in your head, and they couldn't give you even just a minute to connect, or they're too good for you. Then that's what I think maybe will give people the negativeness when it comes to networking, that because that's some of the bad stuff that goes along with it, and it kind of makes them disappointed and not wanting to work.
I presume there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
I also find that people who get definitely they're assholes. There are people who like, they just don't give a crap and actually will appear like they do, and they will be on stage and they will say like, come to me and let's have breakfast and whatever.
And then they don't do it.
And then they don't do it, or they do it, but the once event is over, you can forget about them.
Yeah.
There's so many speakers that at different conferences, obviously not going to name names, it was like, DM me whatever you need, everything from the stage or like while they're there. And then people send them messages.
No reply.
They never will hear back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you have 10,000 followers on Instagram, if you have a lot of DMs, it's very hard to follow. So like,
yeah, it is.
We need to pay attention to that as well.
That's why I always feel so honored when you reply to my DMs, Julian.
I'm too small to not see that, right?
Yeah.
Once I employ someone to.
No, is that what it is?
To do my Instagram, like, nah, I probably will never be there. But it's really, really hard to that point. Like when someone's post goes viral, and you are part of that post, and you're getting, I don't know, like 200 messages a day, which happened to me, and like thousands of
that's overwhelming.
Notes.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Instagram will even disappear part of that. So like the Instagram is not like that amazing for that. But that said, I think big part of that may be that people call others assholes because people didn't treat them as they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Because they came in there and said, oh, like this is like my dream planner or my dream photographer or dream that. And that person was standing and talking to friends and was in the middle of something like cool. And they came in there and like, oh, hello. And like, read the room. That is also a very important thing.
Yeah.
Right. You like, there's on mode, there's off mode. People might be talking. Don't interrupt. Don't like really pay attention to what is happening always. Maybe person was not in the mood. Maybe like sometimes you never know. Like
well,
some people.
And that's a good point. No, the mood. You got to go into a networking event in the right frame of mind. So if you're having a bad day, I would skip the networking event.
That's very true. You cannot snap at people. You cannot be mean to people. That said, there are people who go there, and when you approach them, maybe something happened at home.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something happened at business. It might have happened 5 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they maybe still need to be there, or maybe they need to go on stage. And then here you are with your hi. And what do you do?
Yeah.
And they just like you like an empty space to them at that point.
Yeah.
And they are not a bad person. So we always want to also pay attention, like understand that everyone is a person. No one is something amazing and magical other than the things that they do for work. But once you like take people out, they all have families, homes, dogs, children. They are like you, households, and everyone is a regular person with their problems, with their health, with their families. And we really want to make sure that, like, when people ask me, like, approach everyone like they are a person.
Yeah.
They are
real
not
people.
a thing.
Yep.
They are not like their name tag, right? They are not that.
I agree.
And I think the connections are made when you're making the connection at human level.
Mm-hmm.
The second you ask a person what they do, and many people will keep on talking to you and will be okay with that, but you're already making it transactional.
I'm going to say that's a very transactional relationship at that point.
Yeah, like if you ask me and I said I'm a photographer, you already like, okay, like I can see your hesitation that you might want to go somewhere else. You don't feel okay with going somewhere else, or some people would just turn away and just go. Or maybe someone says they're a planner and then you're suddenly like all over them. And like this is just very wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
And we did those games a couple of times when someone comes up and planners say, I'm a photographer, and like they see the person like, oh.
Yeah.
Making that face like, oops, and like, oh, nice to meet you, and like walks past and everyone is laughing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I wanted to jump on something real quick. Okay. So I had the honor of being the NWIPA national president for 4 different years.
You've seen a lot.
I've seen a lot when it comes to but I've gotten a lot of complaints about networking. And one of the biggest complaint we got was I attended an event and I got no work out of it. So what I always have it's a 2-3 year commitment is what I say, but I'm curious, what do you think someone like investment of time that someone has to put into going to these events?
I say that I will rewind it and I will say you should not expect ROI.
I agree. I think that's the greatest advice that you could say is
Okay.
You got to go there to not expect anything.
I will say this, that if you do, like, you cannot go anywhere and expect ROI. Like, I'll join WIPA. I'll join RSVP. I'll join Emerge. I'll go to Engage. How fast will I get something out of it?
Yeah.
If you expect something to happen, it's likely not going to happen, or at least not that soon. unless you change your mindset. That's number one. Number two, I think in my personal experience, the connections start happening for real maybe in a year. It takes maybe like at least a year, like from what I can see, for some great things to come to you. And for that, you need to be patient. You need to be there. You need to be present, rinse and repeat. And you need to actually do more than going to those events. Because if we just go to an event is like WIP event is once a quarter, and you only go to WIP events, guess what? You're not getting anything out of it.
It's going to take time.
Yep. Unless you made connections and you took those connections way out of WIPA, of those events.
Yeah.
You're meeting these people outside, you helping them somewhere, you're doing something for them. Or you're just going for lunches and things like that. And by the way, don't invite people for coffee.
Yeah.
Like next day after you met them. Because
well, and it's funny because I don't drink coffee, and I would get invited all the time to go have coffee. And people just assume that that's what you like. But and that's a good point. There's people like to be met at different spots. You've mentioned DMs. Some people might want you to, connect with them through, old school email, phone call. There's so many different ways. But I think when you meet someone, you have to ask, where do they want to be met, and meet them there.
Correct. And then also maybe they don't want to meet.
Yeah. That's the other good point.
And maybe they want to see you more. Maybe you will now. And by the way, this is a very good point, because we'll take a person who doesn't know anyone. They go and work events. They come to event, they see people, they don't make connections at the event. That was me years ago. And they go home, right? So there's venue people, there's planners, there is caterer, there is DJ, there is like people who do decor. And so many people, they come and they go and they don't know anyone. Let's say you are that person and now you actually need to network. You go to an event and then you go and do a wedding, and suddenly you see people who you know.
Yeah.
And then you go again, and now you have more people who you know. And at this point in New York, most of the time we go and do a wedding, we know most people who are on the wedding. And that's awesome, because you're going to have fun. You're going to enjoy the work, but it took years to get there, because obviously you don't know everyone right away. But point is, now these people saw you at work. There's another point of connection. Now, when you see them next time somewhere else, they will be way more likely to enjoy conversation with you. And then maybe they will say like, oh, let's go and have lunch.
Yeah.
Because now they actually know you and they saw that you did good work, or and was kind to clients, or whatever it is. Right. And it can take a lot of time. And maybe if they hear that you did good job, or did see that you did good job, they can tell someone else, and that someone else will tell someone else, and you will get work from totally unexpected place.
Yeah. I agree.
But if you don't do this, if you don't put the work in, that will never happen. So it's like an investment. You can put money in stock and it can crash. And then you will just say, I will never touch investments again. And this is most people, because I just lost $500. Like that was a lot of money. I'm never doing it again.
Yeah.
People do the same with networking.
Yeah.
People who start investing and they do mistakes and they understand where they should go, what they should be doing, start getting the return. And same here. You understand what events are right for you, what people you vibe with. You find your crowd eventually, right? Every little child who goes to kindergarten comes next day, like same day in the evening, crying. Say, they all hate me. I don't know anyone. I hate the teacher. I hate right? And then in 6 months, they have friends and everything is great and they love the teacher. it took a lot of crying and dragging the child to the childcare before they actually acclimated. And it's going to be the same thing. And hopefully you don't, cry. And I do need to drag people to networking events sometimes. But it takes a lot of time. And I think if it also depends on the discipline, and it depends how common it is. So as a photographer, there's like a lot of us. And
it's a saturated,
it's a saturated market. And most people who are upstream from us, be it designers or planners or venues, they already have people who they work with. So it would be stupid of me to go anywhere and hope like I met someone, they will give me work, because no, why would they? They have people who they trust. They just met me, you, whatever. There's zero reason, right, to give me work.
Yeah.
No matter who I am, by the way, right?
Yeah.
And events are being booked way ahead of time, and it will take a lot of time. But if your profession is very unique, like you say, I don't know, you're bottle walker, or you're doing, like even in the case of New York, if you're a content creator, there's one content creator that goes to all events. Everyone who will listen to that from New York, they will know who that is for that purpose. He gets all the jobs.
Yeah.
With all the planners, all the venues, all the florists, like he is there.
Well, and that's a very interesting point, because I think if you, like in our neck of the woods, there was someone that created a photo booth out of a VW bus. Very unique. Someone that offered babysitting services at weddings. Very unique. A cigar roller. You're gonna get business quicker because you're one of one.
Correct.
You're offering something different that no one else offers. So you gotta, so this is gonna exponentially speed up for you than it would if you like are a photographer or lighting. Like if someone that is one of many, it's going to take time. So
correct. And most people are not unique. Like, sorry guys,
no,
most of us are not doing anything special.
It's very rare when you meet those people. So,
and also everyone thinks that they're better than others and they're special. And guess what? It's not about that, right? Because it's all the beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. And what you think is beautiful, someone else will say it sucks. And it just goes for anything, right? Like, makeup artists can do an amazing job, and I will say, wow, look at this. Like, my wife would come and say, that looks like crap. Right? And again, and the bride might be very happy with the work that makeup artist did, because everyone has their own perception of everything.
Yeah, I agree.
So unless you're special, be patient. I see people who say they got successful. They went to 3 years of Engage. They went to countless events, and they doubled and doubled, and they went everywhere. And guys, they did a lot of work for free. Because in order for you to be noticed, you want to be visible. And if you're not visible, it's like you didn't do anything.
I agree.
It's going to be the same as like, I posted one post on Instagram. I don't have work. I did 1,000. Guess what? I don't have work yet. Right? So keep on working. And at some point, someone will notice. And at some point, someone else will notice someone else. To the point of like poor planners, which being attacked for everything. I can say that my main business comes to me right now. And I think it will be very, very, very interesting and unexpected. From a cake artist who recommended me to a florist after probably 10 years.
Oh, wow.
10 years of beautiful relationship.
Yeah.
Which had just great friends.
Yeah.
10 years after, at some event, that person recommended me to some other person, like not recommended for, like just introduced us.
Yeah.
And year after, that person gave us an event that changed our career. And some beautiful planner saw that event and approached me at a party where we were all completely drunk and said,
Yeah.
I know you. I have 2 events for you. And I was like, woke up like, no way.
Yeah.
And next day I had the referral for those 2 events.
That's awesome.
And now it escalated.
Yeah.
So not a planner. Planner was at the end of it.
Yeah. But it took a while to get there.
Yep.
And time.
Yep. And I can say that when people meet a pastry chef at a party, they say, oh, nice. And they move on unless there's actually cake. Then they eat the cake and they move on.
Yeah. And again, I think we can beat it with a dead, beat it over the head with a dead, whatever we want to call, but you're never going to know where the next opportunity is going to come from. So that's why, yeah. And to Julian's point, it's you got to get to know everyone, but not about what they do, just who they are. And I think that's the biggest thing. So.
And be human, just like be a person and be interested in what people are, not what they do at work.
Yeah.
When people come to chill at a networking event, they not necessarily want to talk shop.
Nope.
And most of them not. Especially
occasional, you might just worked a wedding with someone that was great or horrible or whatever, and you may want to let it all out with that person, but that's like a one-on-one. It's very rare. Right. You're not going to walk around and talk to everyone about all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Also, there's a big difference when you approach a person who owns the business, which is a lot, but not everyone. And there's a lot of people who work for someone.
Yeah.
They work for a venue, and it might be 10 of them from the same venue at the same event. And they really don't want to think about work. They literally came to chill.
Well, and it's funny you say that. So we're talking horror stories, right? So, I'm 45 minutes east of San Francisco. So a lot of our networking events are in the city. And I would go with 2 venues, people that work all the time. And one of them was a big winery, very well-known winery that everyone wants to work at. And so we just would go around the room and networking and talking to people. And the question that the girl got asked the most from the winery, how do I get on your preferred vendor list? Like, just without even getting to know, they didn't even know her name, Julian. They didn't even know who she was. You need me, or they'd hand her a card. And this is my actual favorite. They'd hand her the card and go, you need me on your preferred vendor list.
It's a great way to end up on the list.
Yeah, no, you would never get on and it was just like, instead of, they knew nothing about her, knew nothing about her property, you know what I'm saying? But she would get beat up. I mean, just question after question. And it was no one got to know her as the person, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I think that's the biggest thing that I think we're trying to hit on with some of this networking stuff is you got to get to know the people as a person. So
absolutely. By the way, I want to close that circle with the girl at RSVP who on the last day at the party, she came to me and said that was the best advice ever.
Oh.
And now she has a ton of connections and she has some very good connection in Canada at the venue that she would never dream of because she just happened to have drinks with someone who works there. And she didn't ask who that is and just happened, happened to be. And also to that point, I think that no matter where you go, the best connections are made at the very end of the event when most people went home or to the hotel rooms and there's like a bunch of people stay to drink or like go out or like do after party. And there's that really small little group who like maybe totally intoxicated. This is like best connections ever.
Yeah. I agree.
And like the best fun.
I agree. All right. So we got to get into a few horror stories before we wrap up. So I thought of a couple and so there's someone I'm going to be as generic as possible. Someone in our local networking group that is known as the Shrimper. Like that's their nickname. by everybody but them, because they go to the events, and if there is shrimp anywhere, they eat an abundance of, and so they have known, they're known as the shrimper. There's another one in our area that is known as two glasses is what we call that person, because after 2 glasses of wine, they're inappropriate after that. You know what I'm saying? And so my point is you don't want to become the shrimper, 2 glasses. You don't want to become these people, because that is forever you're known as this person. You take on a persona.
100%.
Yeah. So, but I'd love to hear a horror story or two.
Okay, so like I have a personal horror story which might not be so horrible, or maybe it is, but to me it was very, very unpleasant at a time. Years ago, over 10 years ago, when I was more of a beginner and I was thinking of myself like I'm the shit. I'm the artist, right? Like obviously.
Yeah. We all start out that way.
Unfortunately. And a planner girl wrote me on Instagram saying, "Hey, I'm doing this event in New York and it's free event. And it's like a showcase and I really need help, but like I can't pay for that." And I looked at her followers. It was like 200. And I said like, and I had maybe 800 just to that point. It's like, who's that? Why would I? And I told like, I don't do free work.
Oh, okay.
Right. I was very confident in what I was doing. Like, why would I? It's outside. It's in the winter in New York. Why? Like, who needs that crap? Whatever. Like, and I was like and she's like, "Oh, okay. Like, I'm so sorry I bothered you. Whatever." Then we fast forward 10 years. I go to a networking event. And I'm not going to say exactly what, where, whatever. And there's that big planner.
Oh.
Again, not naming names, whatever. Like, and everyone is around her, and like, and I know, like, I'm like, wow, like that's really cool. And so it happens that I end up having lunch at the same table, like she's next to me. And obviously we're having conversation, right? It's assigned seating.
Yeah.
And like, awesome. She's asking like, "What's your Instagram?" We exchanging, and then she adds me. I add her, and I'm going to like DM her that, hey, it wasn't. And I'm seeing that conversation from 10 years ago.
Wah, wah, wah.
And she like sees that conversation too. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was so horrible." And she's like, "Whatever. Like, I never got the job anyway. I never did it." It was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like and I didn't remember her. I didn't remember anything. And like, here it is, like in my face.
Yeah.
Right. So if it would, I will never get anything from her, or I will, because she's actually a very nice and kind person.
Yeah.
Right. But that was like, I wanted to like die and like disappear under the table.
You're like, why did I get seated here? Why am I here?
I definitely couldn't make a joke out of it. Nothing.
No.
So that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I had another event where I saw horror happen, and New York City, you cannot fly drones.
Okay.
It's illegal, and then
which makes sense. I mean, complete sense.
Yeah, but like that's a rule. You cannot. So like there's rooftops, there's outdoor spaces. Like you can't fly the drone. And there was big networking event at one of the most beautiful and famous rooftops in New York City. Again, we're not going to expose people. And there was a photographer who came with a drone who wanted to have photos of that rooftop for his portfolio.
Oh no.
And he was not from New York. He specifically like came to
Targeted
this event
for
because
that
it was there
and he brought
and
his
paid
drone.
money to
Yeah.
be there, right? Like, and it wasn't a cheap one, to have those photos so he can put it on his website.
Oh, this has all kinds of bad written all over it.
And so there's cocktail hour, and there was beautiful setup, great designer, everything like we do in New York. And this guy stands in the corner and he's setting up a drone. And one of my friends runs to him. It's like, you cannot fly a drone here. Like, are you a vendor? Or like, he's like, no, like I came from, I think it was upstate New York. Like, I need those photos. I want to work in New York. This is the New York. And like, you can't fly the drone in New York. Do not do this.
Yeah.
So the guy says, oh, like, I wish I knew that. Gets upset. Gets like, I didn't talk to him much, right?
Yeah.
So he packs the drone, walks around. I see him talking, like drinking, whatever. So the guy gets drunk.
Oh, it's even
Visibly.
getting worse. Okay.
Visibly. And he flies the drone. And he's being walked out by two big security guys
For flying the drone.
for flying the drone.
He probably lost his pilot license if he had one.
I don't know where, like, I don't know if he had, by the way, right? Like that's not something I know, but now the venue knows who, like, he's banned from that venue, and all the planners in New York City who were at that event know who that guy is.
Yeah.
So he did make himself famous.
Known, but in the wrong way.
So it's a really good way to not be hired.
Well, and it's funny because you brought up like how he got drunk too. It's like there's a time and place for everyone to drink and party at an event, but there's also a time where you should not. You know what I'm saying? And so I felt like he probably didn't like whoever told him not to fly the drone story, and then decided to hit the sauce and get a little tipsy.
What can happen, right?
Yeah, and then that it made a bad story 100 times 100. It got even so much worse. So, God, that's horrible.
Yeah, and by the way, this is a very good point. People do not get drunk unless you in a circle of very close friends together.
Yeah,
and you like do not get drunk.
There's times where you'll go out after a networking event, or after WIPA New York was one of my favorite chapters to visit when I was the WIPA president.
You should come to the gala.
I've been to many a gala, I'll be honest
December
with you.
2nd.
Yeah, but it was one, I loved all the people there. They were the nicest people I would encounter in all of WIPA, but also I really love that Italian restaurant, Quality Italian. So I'd always love to eat at the Quality Italian restaurant. But anyway, but they were just nice people. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I got distracted, but I just wanted to share that they're nice people.
We are nice. We are nice. I'm going to be like shameless. Like, we are awesome.
No, it just.
But I can tell, like, if you go places and like, I think very, like, because we're like melting pot and there's a lot of different cultures, and like there's a lot of people like uber tolerant to everything, and they accept everything. And even though New York is known for like not accepting anything and being rude, it's not like that.
It's not like that at all. No, and I remember my point because I got sidetracked on Quality Italian. Sorry, little shameless plug for them. But we would meet up and go have a drink out after the WIPA event, and that's the time to cut loose and enjoy yourselves. Like, that's the time where you relax, and then I feel like it's a little bit more acceptable to cut a little bit more loose, not while you're walking around and because I think that's the thing, is that people forget you're representing yourself, but you're also representing the brand. So if you are an employee for someone at these places and you are behaving inappropriately, one, that information is going to travel quick, like probably
people talk.
Well,
people
but
so talk.
I can even see it happening to the point, Julian, where you're being inappropriate at an event and someone's texting your boss. Like it's getting back that fast because
100%.
we're very, and we have no tolerance for that type of behavior, and we're kind of a little bit of catty bitches when it comes to this stuff.
Yes,
we will be the first to like turn you into your boss for being inappropriate because I feel like too we're being guarded and protected of that person's brand, and so that's the thing people got to remember is you're representing your brand when you're out there than doing this as well.
Of course. People do it at work.
Yeah.
When you have difficulty with, I don't know, employee, you text the boss.
Yeah.
And things getting done, right? At the wedding, like we see a lot of people do the same at the networking event. Like,
yeah,
be normal, be kind, control yourself, for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Doesn't end well.
No. All right, we're gonna have to wrap up because we're on time. But I feel like we just did part 1 of networking, and we probably could do part 4, or we could get all the way up to part 4 because networking is such a big topic, and then I think people forget that it's a very important part of growing and building your business. Like it is. That is where the real growth you start seeing in your business is when you have these relationships with these people. And like even for you, Julian, you probably have photographer friends that, you're in a pinch, you have photographer friends you can call because you've developed these relationships at networking events, and that's the biggest thing too, so anyway.
Absolutely. And it's people who I trust and people who work for me now and do my events. It's all people who I met through these events.
Yeah.
It's no longer like it used to be, like you go on Facebook and you find someone, or you just work with someone because just like you found them a long time ago. I have a network that saves me time after time, and I can actually trust these people.
Yeah.
And I will do events for them. They will do events for me. There's no like competition. Mm-hmm. And we're getting a lot of business from other photographers as well.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we did it, Julian. We shared some horror stories a little bit. The shrimper.
Next time, let's do success stories.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I like that. But I also love that thank you for being vulnerable and honest about your horror story. I didn't even think you would be a horror story, but you know what?
That's a good one.
It actually is a good one because if you're new and young and just getting into the business, you got to be, there's some humility that comes along with that as well.
Be nice.
Yeah.
For the lack of a better way to say it.
I think
keeping it civil.
I do. I agree. All right, Julian, how can people get in contact with you?
Very easily. You can find me. You can find me on Instagram at Julian Ribinik Studios. You can go on my website, julianribinikweddings.com. And you can also find me on Instagram, Coach Julian Ribinik, if you want to talk coaching.
All right. I love it. And you can also find him at the New York Gala on December 3rd for WIPA. So
December 2nd.
Oh, 2nd. I'm sorry. I thought you said 3rd.
And also, by the way, that will be a shameless plug. WIPA New York has a networking event for the sake of networking. So we're going to have amazing speaker, Shannon Lee.
Oh, nice.
About networking on November 10th in Park Lane Hotel.
Okay. And it's funny. The one thing that we didn't even get to touch on today was that people go in there with a narrow mind when it comes to education. And so that maybe when we do part 2 or 3, we need to talk about that as well, because some people go, oh, I know it all. And they go in there with this narrow mind and their mind closed to what's being taught. But I feel like some of the greatest lessons or things I've learned have come from a WIPA event, a NACE event, an ILEA event, an MPI event, just from hearing like a little nugget, a little something that the speaker had to say. And I'm like, I can bring that back to my business. I can do that as well. So
100%. Yeah. And those connections also can be done on a very, very, it doesn't need to be fancy. You can go to some NACE or ILEA event where like there will be people who are like not dressed. There's nothing fancy there. And you will come out of there with connections that you couldn't dream of.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, thank you for being part of networking. Julian, it sounds like I'm going to have you back to talk a little bit more about networking success stories, and we could probably get into more. I feel like we just even scratched the surface because there's so many little lessons that we could have given people today, but it's so important. And we encourage you to get out there. Emerge is a great group. WIPA is a great group. There's a lot of local groups out there to be networking with, a lot of local wedding groups. There's NACE out there. There's all kinds of there's a group out there for everyone, I feel like.
Absolutely. You can find a lot, and just be human and have patience.
I love
it.
Be
present.
Yeah. Make the investment is what we should make t-shirts that say that.
We can. Let's talk about that offline.
All right, Julian. I can't thank you enough. Folks, we'll have all of Julian's information in the show notes, and you'll see Julian again on the podcast. It's inevitable. So, all right, folks, thank you for listening to another episode of Mind.
See you guys.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Mind Your Wedding Business, brought to you by Wedding IQ. If you've got a topic you'd love to hear us cover, or if there's an area of your business you're struggling with, let us know and we'd be happy to help. Don't forget to check out our other episodes on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're a fan, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and left a review. It helps more wedding pros find us and learn more from our guests too. Thanks again for listening to Mind Your Wedding Business. We'll catch you next time.